The ground trembles, not with the distant thunder that promises rain, but with the measured, earth-shaking tread of a god of death. From the fissure where the remnants of the ridge dwellers huddle, Kale watches the patrol, 3 of them, 3 Giganotosaurus, their immense skulls swinging low, sniffing the air with an intelligence that is far more terrifying than simple hunger. Their passage is an event that reshapes the landscape. Trees splinter and fall. The creek is dammed by a single misplaced step, and the lesser creatures of this valley, the cowering herds of iguanodont, the chittering raptor packs, fall silent. This is the brutal reality of their world, a chapter in the history of prehistoric life written in blood and fear. For 3 moons, the giants have claimed this valley as their territory, and in doing so, have turned the clan's ancestral home into a shrinking cage. They have picked off the hunters one by one, their pursuit methodical, relentless. The clan is now just 27 souls, a flickering ember against a hurricane. Inside the cave, the air is thick with the scent of fear and drying herbs. The matriarch, Ania, holds a piece of charcoal to a slab of slate. She is not drawing the monsters. She is drawing the mountain, or rather, what they have always called the living mountain. It drifts at the far edge of the valley, a walking colossus so vast its peak is often lost in the clouds. Its back a plateau of ancient trees and plunging waterfalls, an Argentinosaurus, a creature beyond the scale of predators, a world unto itself. Its presence is a constant, a slow-moving certainty in a life of chaotic violence. Enia's finger traces a line from the valley floor up the Titan's colossal, wrinkled leg. They path. The others watch her, their faces hollowed by starvation. Her plan, spoken in a whisper only moments before, hangs in the air like poison. They hunt on the ground. She had said, "We will no longer live on the ground." It is a solution born of absolute despair, a concept so audacious it borders on blasphemy, to climb the god-beast, to make a home among the clouds on its back. This moment is a stark illustration of the pressures driving human evolution, forcing these early humans to think beyond the known. Madness, rasps old Bor. His arm a stump where a 4th Giganotosaurus had torn it away. The skin is a cliff. The tremors of its walk will shake us off like fleas. He speaks for all of them. He speaks for reason. Kel steps forward, holding a wicked-looking hook, a piece of the specialized osteodontocera technology. It is the curved rib of an Allosaurus, bound with gut to a sharpened femur. With the talon of a Utahraptor lashed to its tip, the skin is not sheer, Kale says, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hands. There are scales, dermal scutes thick as a man's torso. There are growths, old scars hand holds. He has scouted it, creeping closer to the living mountain than any had dared before. He has studied the beast not as a god, but as terrain, a problem of engineering. Enia nods, her eyes fixed on the claim. This is the hard choice, the pivot upon which their entire existence turns. Stay and be erased, or embrace an ascent into the unknown that will surely kill many of them. She raises her palm. The stone remembers. She chants, the ancient words of binding promise. The clan hesitates. Then one by one, the others raise their hands. The blood answers. They murmur, the response a death pact into prayer. The crossing is a nightmare whispered in silence. They move under a sliver of moon, a river of ghosts flowing between petrified trees. Every shadow is a hunter, every snap of a twig a death sentence. The ground still hums from the Giganotosaurus patrol, a vibration that travels up their bare feet and settles in their bones. This is the essence of their prehistoric world, not a constant battle, but a constant state of being prey. Ahead, the living mountain blots out the stars. It is no longer a distant landmark. It is the entire world. Its leg, the goal, is a cliff of wrinkled, grey flesh, a pillar holding up the heavens when they finally reach it, pressing their bodies against the ancient skin. The sheer scale is paralyzing. The hide is a landscape of its own, scarred with ravines of wrinkled flesh and armored with plate-like dermal scutes larger than their torsos. The sound is overwhelming. not a roar, but the internal thunder of the great sauropod's life. They sound like a slow-motion earthquake, the groan of titanic tendons, the oceanic rush of blood through arteries as wide as caves. Kao is the first to ascend. He moves with a desperate grace, a testament to the primal survival skills honed over a lifetime of flight. He swings the bone hook, its sharpened point scraping against the hide before catching in the deep crevice above a scoot. He twists it, puts his weight on the sinew rope, and pulls himself up. Then he throws a second hook, securing himself before anchoring the rope for the others. One by one, they begin to climb, their small, fragile bodies stark against the immensity of the beast. The clan becomes a living chain of ancient humans scaling the ladder of a god. The leg sways with each of the creature's ponderous steps. A slow, sickening pendulum swing that threatens to dash them against the flesh or send them plummeting into the darkness below. A young woman, Elora, loses her grip as a tremor runs through the limb. She dangles by one arm, her cry swallowed by the internal thunder of the dinosaur. Would be around. Climbing slowly with his one good arm, he's just below her. He cannot pull her up. He cannot hold her. In a moment of pure, selfless instinct, he braces his feet, hooks his stump of an arm over his own rope, and swings his body outwards, a human counterweight. He pushes her back towards the hide, giving her just enough momentum to find a new handhold. The effort costs him his own precarious grip. He does not scream as he falls. He simply vanishes into the darkness, a sacrifice made so the chain would not break. You know, they enter a new zone of peril. Small, feathered pterosaurs, their wingspan is no wider than a man's arms, burst from nests hidden in the deep folds of the Argentinosaurus skin. They are not hunting, they are defending their territory. They swarm the climbers, their beaks like sharpened stones, pecking at hands and faces. A youth cries out as a talon rips his arm, the blood a shocking smear of red against the grey hide. Daniel, climbing just below him, screams a command, not of defiance, but of unity. The climbers press themselves flat, shielding their faces, enduring the assault as they continue their agonizingly slow ascent. This is not a war they can win. It is a storm they must weather. This climb is etching a new chapter in hominid history, a vertical migration born from the crucible of fear, a testament to the desperate will of a species that refuses to die, even in a world that existed 100 million years ago before their time should have come. The air grows thin and cold as they clear the colossal knee joint. Below, the valley floor is a map drawn in moonlight, the cage they have just escaped. Above, the curvature of the great beast's back finally resolves into a horizon, an undulating landscape of deep green under a star-dusted sky. Kale is the first to pull himself over the precipice of flesh and muscle, his lungs burning, his hands raw. He does not collapse. He stares, his mind struggling to process the world he has entered. He stands on a plain of what looks like thick, mossy earth, but it gives slightly under his feet. A living substrate, strange, fleshy fungi, some glowing with a soft bioluminescence, grow in thickets, trees, gnarled and ancient, their roots buried deep in the soil that has accumulated over centuries on the creature's back, from his birth, alien forest. This is an ecosystem in the sky, a lost world riding on the back of another, larger world. This is the new reality for these Homo sapiens, a challenge beyond anything their human ancestors could have conceived. As the last of the survivors, now only 19, pull themselves onto the plateau, a profound silence falls over them, broken only by the rhythmic, impossibly deep thrum of the Argentinosaurus heartbeat felt through the soles of their feet. They have made it. They have survived the ascent. But a new, more subtle fear begins to creep in. The air is filled with unfamiliar sounds. The drone of insects the size of Kayla's fist, the rustle of unseen things in the low, thick-leafed vegetation, and a high-pitched chittering that seems to come from the sky itself. They have traded a known monster for 1,000 unknown ones. This bizarre environment is a testament to the complex webs of prehistoric life, highlighting a strange symbiotic relationship between the colossal host and the myriad life forms it carries. Then the eye moves to the edge, peering down the impossible slope. She sees the glittering eyes of a Giganotosaurus far below, a frustrated predator staring up at a meal that has simply vanished into the sky. A flicker of triumph crosses her face. The first in months, she has given her people a chance. She has exercised a foresight that has redefined their very existence. Their respite is short-lived. A shadow passes overhead, not the fleeting passage of the small pterosaurs from the ascent, but something vast. Its wings span eclipsing the moon. A monstrous pterosaur, a Hatsutopovus, circles once, its long, cruel beak silhouetted against the stars. It is not interested in them. It roots down towards one of the gnarled trees, and with a sickening crunch, plucks something large and struggling from its branches. The clan huddles together, their new world revealing its own apex predator. They have escaped the jaws on the ground only to find themselves under the shadow of death from the sky. They have no caves here, no fishes to hide in. They are exposed, vulnerable. On this plane of living flesh, Kale looks at the strange, fibrous plants, at the discarded exoskeletons of giant insects, at the very ground beneath his feet. Their primitive technology of stone and bone, their entire understanding of survival, was built for the world below. Here, everything is new. The rules are different. The struggle is not over. It has just begun, hundreds of feet in the air, on the back of a living god that does not even know they are there. The clan did not find a sanctuary. They found a new kind of crucible, on the back of the Argentinosaurus. They learned to build shelters from the spine-like branches of the symbiotic trees and to weave armor from the molted carapaces of giant parasites. They learned the hunting patterns of the sky beasts, using the beasts' own rhythmic sway to anticipate attacks. Their world became a microcosm, a self-contained island of life adrift on an oceanic creature. Their survival a constant dance with a bizarre and unforgiving ecosystem. They were no longer the ridge dwellers. They became the sky walkers. This desperate act, this vertical migration, became the central pillar of their anthropology. It was a singular, audacious gamble that paid off not in peace, but in a future. This small band of hominids, armed with little more than courage and sharpened bone, refused to be erased. Their defiance, their sheer bloody-mindedness in the face of titans, poses a question that echoes down to us. Is the essence of humanity not found in our dominance, but in our willingness to climb onto the backs of gods when the monsters below give us no other choice? This is the sound of the silence where survival begins. And on the wind, a new story whispers of a clan who learned to speak the language of the raptors.